How's it going? I'm finally sitting down to record this video. January's almost over and I feel kind of bad. Anyway, welcome to my 2024 book review. This year I read 61 books. That's a huge increase from last year, which could mostly be attributed to the fact that I didn't have internet for most of the summer. I was doing other things, but also still reading. I now have access to the internet full time, which is to your detriment because I've been too busy being a screen zombie to make any content at all. Nearly all of the books I read this year, I read on Libby through my library. And so that's pretty fucking sick. I love free content, but unfortunately, the stack of books that Steven and I hauled like 2,400 miles to Appalachia are just gonna have to wait for another physical TBR clean out. That is kind of sad, but I think it'll be okay. Does this feel like, oh my god, does this feel like you are at a diner eating by yourself or something and then I'm just turning around and talking to you? Because that's camp. That's fucking sick. I hope that that's how you feel. Imagine we're in a Waffle House. Because I can go there now. Last year I did a book bracket with all the books I read in 2024. That took a long time and I didn't like the way the video turned out. So this year I decided to make a few categories up. Just in my mind. Mainly for the purpose of me highlighting books that I think about a lot, positive or negative. So there are 5 categories here, and I just made up the requirements too. There's category 1, new series that I started in 2024. The first one is Fallen Gods by who? Hannah Kaner. I read Godkiller and Sunbringer, which are the 2 titles that are available right now. The third book is supposed to come out April 2025, but I can guarantee you that my library isn't going to have it, and I'm not purchasing a book. Not the end of a trilogy. That's ridiculous. So I'm going to be on offensive, spoiler alert. I'm going to be blocking stuff like keywords. Leave me alone, okay? I am very happy with the world building. And Fallen Gods has got to have some of the best world building possible because I feel like it's the perfect medium, riding that straight edge of way too much information to the point where I feel like I'm reading a history book. I'm reading an encyclopedia entry on the whatever's going on here, or I have no fucking clue what's going on. So it's nice. It's right in the middle. It's very immersive. The characters feel very real to me. I can't stop thinking about the implications of what it means to be a god in that universe and like the faith-based economy. What do you mean? Oh man. And the little abandoned gods. Come on. Tug at my heartstrings. I leave a candle out for the god of broken sandals. He's just a little guy and he just wants to help. That's cute. Some of the things I didn't like are reasons that I want to keep reading the series because I'm hoping it's a setup. Like Sketty Spaghetti. You're getting on my fucking nerves. I just like him less and less the more I get to know him. And I know that a lot of that is because he doesn't know who he is or what's going on, but that gets resolved. He's still kind of a douchebag, but I think that it's because he's a god. I don't know. I just don't fucking like him. And the same the same kind of goes for Inara. I feel like they're affecting each other in a negative way because they're like tied together, you know? I can cut her some slack because she's like going through a lot. That's a lot to go through in like 6 months. I think it's like 6 months that all of this has happened. But if she goes full evil in the 3rd book, dude, I'm going to be fucking pissed. Calling it right now. I'm going to be pissed. Why'd you do that to my girl, my baby? Fuck the king, too, though. Like, he pissed me off from the beginning. Oh, I don't care that you're brothers. Your Mr. Baker man he like sacrificed so much for you. He's just being a little baker man. And you walk into his bakery and you dump this shit on him. You make him feel guilty. Disgusting. But Sunbringer kind of dealt with that, and I really appreciate the way it was done. I really do. Speaking of Sunbringer, that's a lot of people that are alive. I'll say it. That's a lot of people. And also, what was she planning? What is she doing? Because she was doing some fuck shit against the king, for sure. But it seems like she's also evil. Like, really mean. And, like, does not have good intentions for a lot of stuff. And especially since Inara gave her hair to the sexy, fat, hairy goddess, me. I think that there's going to be crazy beef going on. I really do. It's going to be a problem. And I'm excited for it. I really like that. Please don't spoil it for me. I have not felt this excited for a new release since Deathly Hallows. I'm not fucking kidding. I'm so excited. I need to get physical copies. As soon as they're all out, I want a box set. And I never say that. The second series I started is the Founders Trilogy by Robert Jackson Bennett, or Benet. I don't know who he is. I haven't stopped thinking about the magic in this book. Well, it's not magic. It's like code. Coding. You can code something to like trick it. That's pretty sick. Like, what do you mean? I can make wood think that it's made of rocks, so it's like a better building material. That's interesting, and that's such a cool use for that. But like honestly, I'm not trying to say something is worse than it is. But the presence of slavery in a fiction novel kind of rubs me the wrong way, dog. Because, like, it's still happening. Do you know that? And while you were writing it, did you know that? Did you consider the implications? I don't know. I feel like, personally, I carry sadness in knowing that, like, there are people alive right now that don't have autonomy over their bodies and are being forced into working conditions and into human experimentation, like, right now. And we're just writing about it. I don't know, dude. It feels weird. Maybe we should find better ways to explain the plight of characters and point out, like, social consciousness. But also, I don't think that you did that on purpose. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm just kind of sensitive about it. Okay, so I'm aware that it's kind of a lukewarm take. Sorry about that. January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, amongst other things. And though this month is almost over, I think it's still a good opportunity to provide some links, some resources, some education. So I'll put those down in the description. Because if I'm going to bring it up, I'm gonna be part of the solution, you know? Sorry that got dark. Art is an expression of life. Strength witnessed is strength gained. So maybe we should be talking about it like that. I don't know. I'm gonna keep reading this series. That's all I've got to say. The last series of this category, I was not emotionally prepared for. I wasn't. The Oxford Time Travel series by Connie Willis. I can't really explain how exciting it is to see one of your favorite daydreams, well, my favorite daydreams, depicted in such an artful way. I really do. I would just sit there and daydream like, oh my gosh, if I was somehow transported back to this time period, like how would I make them not like fear me? How would I communicate? What languages would I need to learn? What if it sounded different? And all of that's in here. The characters are all kind of basic, but in a you'll get to know them along the way sense. Like by the end of the book, I felt way more familiar with them, which I think is pretty standard, and it's better to avoid giving too much fucking information in like the first 10 paragraphs of a book. This book made me really emotional at times, because these are like anthropologists going back and witnessing history and getting emotional about it, and then I get emotional about it, and seeing their desire to take care of the people in the past, but also not want to interfere because it's the rules, like that's really powerful. I cry a lot in seeing like anthropological or archaeological content that depicts like how humans have always been humans, and we all love each other and we take care of each other, and we talk about like war and murder and famine so much that we kind of forget that people have always been people. So this is S tier for striking that chord. Feels very human. I'm beyond excited to keep reading the series. Hell fucking yeah. Side note. Historical recreator, like costuming, historical costuming. You might like this. I know. Hold on. Let me gather my thoughts for a second. My entire feed for months at a time is just like historical sewing and like the history behind it and why we wore what we wore and all of that. And this book goes into so much detail about historical costuming because they have to wear it to go back. And then it's like, oh no, we were a little wrong about that. That's a cute little gem in there. So I think that you might like it if you like historical whatever. I have 3 old series that I jumped back into. 2024 started and ended on a nostalgia trip. First, I dedicated an entire month into reading The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. I read The Name of the Wind last year, and it felt so good to spend time with those characters again. I read the first 2 books in 2015, and I wasn't even aware that there's like prequels and stuff. Just didn't even know, so those are on my TBR. I don't have a lot to say about these books because I read them a while ago. But I do know that whenever I was reading, I had this habit of like reading a couple chapters, and they're big chapters. These are both really big books. I would read a couple chapters, and then to process everything that just happened, I would stop and like play my mandolin and think for a little while, because of the way that Quoth interacts with his lute. Like, the representation of music fanaticism is really good in this book. I love that part. And it felt like I was able to connect with his thoughts when I went to go play. It was cute. I just like that. Another series that I hit hard this year. Hard. Ranger's Apprentice by John Flanagan. This series has got to be the best middle grade European political drama I've ever read. I don't know how many of those there are, but this has got to be the best. I love a secret society. I love like special ops, but you're also a fucking teenager. What? I don't know. But I mean, like, the character development and the relationships between all of these people is so fucking cute. I love it. I got to the end of Burning Plains again, and I cried like a baby again. Stay alive, Will. I'll come get you. As your fucking little baby man whisked away into the ocean. Come on. That's on my bloodline. That is love. It's so cute. It just makes me cry. Like, and you know that he means it. He's going to do it. It was so touching. I love that part. I'm reading through it. I think I read like 3 of the series this year, but I listened to them as audiobooks because the audio person, I'll put him right here. Fucking amazing. I'm gonna look him up right now. John Keating. John Keating. John Keating. You do such a good job. Oh my god. The third and last of the old series that I went into the third and the last old series revamp I got into was Murtaugh by Christopher Paolini. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but that's how I'm gonna say it. I didn't even know that it came out. So imagine me just walking. I'm walking in Walmart. I think it was Walmart. And I just walk by the book section and there's fucking Murtaugh. Gagged. And my library had it. Just like right off the fucking bat. It was on hold for 2 months because other people were in line to like read it, but man, as I was reading it, I was transported back to like middle school. 12-year-old me finished Brisinger, I think. I might have the timelines wrong. But 12-year-old me was so fucking into this book that I logged on to AO3 and I was reading Murtaugh Nasuda fan fiction. I'm not fucking kidding. I even wrote some. And I'm sure it was bad. I was in like the 6th grade, okay? I had no fucking clue how to do anything at all. I barely know now. But, oof. Love. It took me back. And it was so good. I have no quotes from it. But I remember reading it and writing things down. But then my life kind of got a little crazy. And I just didn't keep track of that. So that's awesome. But I get to reread it. Like I can reread it if I want to. Very nice. Very excited. In this category, it was hard to be more specific, but I labeled it deeply impacted my brain. It's completely subjective and I'm not accepting criticism for the criteria. Okay? Some books just hit different at different times. And it's not my fault. I'm not going to apologize. So first of all, let me just say that I have a complicated relationship with self-help books. Anything like that. Because I open the book, I read the first chapter, and it's nauseating. It's horrible. It's either so motivational that I feel like I can't even match the energy, get this away from me, or it's very annoying, pick me, not like other books kind of stuff. And beyond that, there's probably only like 1 chapter's worth of like actual useful information and everything else is just fluff and it's so fucking annoying. Most self-help books would end up on my abandoned list on Goodreads, but I recognize that, and I've chosen to give these books the opportunity to come back to me at a different time, and I don't just write them off right away. All that being said, I listened to 101 Essays to Change the Way You Think by Brianna Wiest. On the one hand, I appreciate that I got to skim it by just listening to it. And even while I was listening to it, it was like a lightning bolt would hit me. And I'd be like, oh my God, that's me. That's me. I need to work on that. That is such a good insight. If I were in therapy, I would immediately write that down so that I could talk to my therapist about it. But also, I wasn't able to like annotate any of this, so I feel like I missed out on a lot of the personal growth aspect. Whoops, good thing I can check it out again. I do think though I want a physical copy because I want to shop it up into journal prompts. I love that as an idea. I do have just one criticism, okay? Just the one. Like everything else, anything else I could say, just the one criticism. It did not have to be 101 essays. I know that that's kitschy and that you probably fluffed up a lot to get to 101, but it would be better if it were 70, even 80 essays. Like some of the stuff was repeated so often, I felt like I was on a Tumblr blog. Like, you know, when you would be like scrolling and you would see like a whole bunch of people reblog the same fucking shit. And you're like, awesome, I'm glad that this is part of like our collective personality now, but I get it and I'm done. I'm finished. So that's what it felt like. But I also think that that's a me problem because maybe it's not meant to be read cover to cover like that. Like maybe it's supposed to be done over time and I'm just bad at it. I don't know. That's my one criticism. There's only 2 books in this category. This book, I'm not kidding you, is probably the top book of the year. And I mean, I have some reservations about that. Just because I don't like putting anything in like a top slot. But Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George fundamentally changed me. I think it just caught me right book, right time. It's so sweet. It's quaint. It's a little goofy, but it's very touching. It's about a guy. My cats are wrestling a little bit. Hey, are you okay? Little Paris Bookshop is about a middle-aged man who's like extremely unhappy, and he runs a bookshop in Paris that's a boat on the water. And he's also a landlord. Yikes. But he seems to be pretty fair and nice. And he like just loses his mind. He has a midlife crisis. Good for him. And he doesn't like go buy a sports car or start dating somebody way younger than him, which is mentioned. Self-awareness. We love to see it. No, he's like, the love of my life was somewhere else and I've got to go there and I've got to see what the fuck happened. And then he just goes. And in the so the name of his bookshop is like the Book Pharmacy. And in the back of the book, there's a book pharmacy of like recommended titles. Most of them are classics to read if you feel some sort of way about something. And I am using that to build part of my TBR in 2025. Don't care. That's fucking astounding. I love that book. I really think that you should read it. It's cute. It's a fast read. Anyway, I have a 4th category, rereadables. I'm gonna just blow through this really quick because they're all rereadable for the exact same reason, and that's just that I like them. Slewfoot, A Tale of Bewitchery. Fucking amazing. Love it. Give me this all day, every day, 24/7. it's gonna be on my Halloween TBR. Fucking sick. Same goes for The Haunting of Lee Harker by Darcy Coates. That it starts off like Haunting of Hill House, the Netflix series type shit, and ends up being like really heartwarming and kind of cute. I just like it, and it's also a fast read. Why not? It's gonna be on my TBR for Halloween. No Country for Old Men by Cormac McCarthy is just gonna be a reread because now it can be like one of my favorite books and my favorite movie. So there's that. And speaking of, I read that just this year. I feel kind of disappointed in myself, but it's never too late to consume media. And I love that it was like written as a screenplay, so it felt like I was reading the screenplay of this movie that I really love and enjoy and am a little obsessed with. But I don't know, in 2012 I just decided No Country for Old Men was my favorite movie, and I haven't really changed my opinion, so it was time to read it, and I liked it. This last category is self-explanatory. I wasn't going to put anything like this. Crimes everywhere. Why don't you go in the box? Yeah. You're in prison. So I wasn't going to put just a purely negative category into this book review because I am a hater. I know I'm a hater. I know I can find flaws in every single piece of media to ever exist. Okay? I know I'm hard to please. So I think it's only fair that I've sung all of these praises. I deserve to be a hater just as a treat at the very end. The Art of Pretend by What's Her Fucking Face. I don't even know. Hold on. What? She hears me getting irritated. I know. Lauren Cool. Girl, if this wasn't a debut novel, you better be joking. Where's the plot? Where's the character development? Where are the consequences for the character's actions at all? Where's a romance that feels like it could ever fucking happen and also like has any spark of human emotion in it? 404 can't be found. Don't know what's going on. I kept thinking though, like here's why I hate it so much. A bad book is a bad book. A book I don't like is just a book I don't like. But it's the fact that I so sincerely believed that all of this stringing along that was happening like 2/3 through the book, I was so fucking sure that she was using it as like a literary device to like tie up all the loose ends really like in a satisfying way. But no. It just ends. It's so fucking stupid. But I do have one nice thing to say. She's a debut. Like, this was her first seriously published book. And her writing isn't bad. Like, the dialogue isn't necessarily bad. I think that if she had worked more with an editor and probably let a couple other people read it to adjust some things, it would have been fine. It would have been great. But it's a no for me. Sorry, girl. Professor Anderson's Night. I want to believe that it's like a translation problem and that like I'm missing something. Like, I want to believe that I'm just stupid. But it's a story about a guy who witnesses a murder and then feels socially and environmentally compelled to not tell anybody about it, and then he goes fucking crazy. Which is either the most on the nose criticism possible or it's kind of fucking stupid. I don't know which. And again, it might just be a translation thing. It might be whatever. But I honestly don't care enough to read it again. It kind of sucked, dog. Hated it. Whatever. As the last entry of my 2024 book review, I have a message to an author specifically. And I don't anticipate a response. This is just off my chest. Nat Cassidy, are we enemies or lovers? Do I hate to love you or love to hate you? Because motherfucker, I read 2 of your most popular works. And I make an unstable, unreliable narrator that's a murderous woman one more time. Do it. Do it one more time. 3rd time's the charm. I will seek therapy. Cause but can we mess with the timing a little bit? That's Cheese playing with her box. I'm not recording this again. So why of the 2 books is it build sympathy with the character, sneak in little hints that she might be kind of fucked up, subvert the conflict, so like, you know, we think we're fighting this, but actually it's this. Evil bitch kills eviler bitch. And then evil bitch gets an epilogue that's bittersweet and a commentary about feminine double standards. It's giving formula. It's giving Monster of the Week. It's giving me 14 more of them right now for some reason. I fucking guess. I read Nestlings and Mary. You're welcome. Oh my god. The end of January, huh? What do we do about all that? I have not completely solidified my 2025 TBR. It's on my Goodreads. I have some there, but I have not really combed through all of these little notes that I've made for myself to say what is officially going on my TBR and what's not. My reading goal for this year is to read just the same amount of books and just keep it rolling, keep it moving. I've started off this year really strong because I'm in the middle of Sapiens, which I can't remember the titles of everything right now. I'm so sorry. I'm still reading Guns, Germs, and Steel. I'm still reading Walden and Other Writings by Henry David Thoreau. I just picked up Wayward by Amelia Hart. And there's another one somewhere. Oh, I started reading Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. So all of those books I'm not super worried about. I don't really have a time frame. I do know that things are going to change a little bit because I'm not going to be listening to as many audiobooks. And I'm in an abusive relationship with scrolling on the internet. It's really gotten bad. Like, actually, for real, I need to limit that as an act of self-care. Overall, I think 2024 was an excellent year for reading. I think I might have read a little bit too much. Like, I remember I did the 3 books in 3 days, and they were all short books, and it was pretty fun, but I didn't sit with those stories very much. I would really like to be a little more reflective on what I'm reading and just try to slow down. I have forever. Like, I'm not trying to be snarky or whatever, but I've already read more books in 2 years than most people read in their entire life. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's not a competition. Yeah. I don't feel like telling you what to fucking do today. if I'm being honest, because I'm so burnt out. I feel like I am not an authority on any of that shit today. I give up. You're on your own, babe. I'm sorry. But I'm gonna drink my fake alcoholic beverage because I'm still sober, bitch. Still California sober. And I'm still trying to recover from everything that happened in 2024. It was a big year. And I'm grateful that I had all these books to help me through it. I do feel like it's time for me to start producing some content. But I say that all the time, and usually I can only manage to put out like a couple pieces of art. Which this isn't art really, but that's what I mean by content, is like doing something creative. And then I stop. I lose motivation. And I don't have a lot of discipline with it. So I don't know what to do. I don't have any grand schemes. What I do know is that cheese is gonna knock this over. Go away, girl. Can you find somewhere else? Thank you. What I do know is that I'm in a new area and I need to explore. So that probably means that a lot of my videos are going to be me walking around Asheville. That's so exciting. Okay, that's all. I hope you have a good time. Bye.